We begin with indigenous kids in our state's criminal justice system. New reporting from investigative outlet InvestigateWest shows that Native American kids in Washington state are much more likely to be arrested, detained, and even kept behind bars. To dig deeper into what exactly is going on here, we're joined by the reporter behind this shocking story. That's Melanie Henshaw with InvestigateWest. First off, Melanie, thanks for being here.
Hi, Matthew. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Absolutely. Now, your piece was pretty eye-opening, and there are jarring numbers throughout about indigenous kids being arrested and jailed compared to white kids here in our state. So what numbers stood out to you the most?
So for me, what really stood out was the fact that despite a lot of efforts on the part of the state to fix these issues, these racial disparities that are present in the juvenile legal system, the disparities have actually gotten worse even as the total number of arrests have decreased. So despite these efforts that have been designed to directly address these disparities, although they've decreased the total number of arrests, they haven't really made a major impact on the actual disparities. And they've in fact gotten worse. So as of 2019 to 2023 data, Native kids were around 4.5 times more likely to be arrested compared to white children in the state of Washington, which is up from around 2.8 times the amount in 2001 when those numbers came out. So very concerning, as well as Native children are being locked up at really high rates for nonviolent property crimes.
Well, Melanie, in your reporting, there was a disparity between indigenous kids and white kids, but we're not talking about just arrests either. You note that this continues even after they've been released. I'd love you to explain to our viewers why that is.
Right, absolutely. So what the state has found is that there's disparities present at every stage of the legal system, starting with arrests. Then you have the opportunity for kids to be either diverted into a non-jail program, think anger management, think therapy, versus going to jail. They're having less opportunities to serve their sentences in the community. Once they're found guilty in a crime, they are spending more time behind bars. Once they're released, they have less opportunity to mess up. Essentially, children who have received multiple charges are more likely to be, again, put behind bars versus granted an off-ramp through therapy, anger management, restitution, or other programs that allow them to serve their sentence in the community versus behind bars. Some of those numbers, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, Mel, I wanted to ask you, because there's so many numbers here and there's so much attention to try to reverse this trend. Do you have any idea, or does your reporting shed any light on why these mistakes are being made?
So essentially, a lot of the advocates and lawyers who I've spoken with who are working with these kids and working on these cases feel that this is an element of structural racism in the system, where Native children and youth of color more broadly are being over-policed, are being targeted with more discretionary arrests where the law doesn't necessarily mandate that police have to make an arrest, and that further they don't have as many opportunities to receive private representation in order to fight these charges in court. They may not even have the support of a parent or guardian alongside them.
Melanie, I really want to encourage our viewers to dig into your reporting on InvestigateWest. This was a masterfully done piece. But before we let you go, I just want to give you one final opportunity. If somebody were to click on this article, what do you want them to be thinking about when they go into this?
I think it's important to ask ourselves, what do we really want out of our criminal justice system? Do we want these kids to be permanently punished, or do we want to rehabilitate them and give them the opportunity to integrate back into the community after they have addressed these issues and addressed the harm that they have caused?
Melanie, thank you so much for taking the time to walk our viewers through this.
Matthew, thank you so much. I appreciate it.